Rainbow 7 or LGD, so maybe you could argue LGD in a best of 5 could be a bit of a tough task. So winning this game is quite important. Straight to group stage will be the first time for the OPL.
It absolutely will be. And I'm going to continue the trend. It's 4 games in a row. 4 times you're going to hear the joke, so please forgive me for this one. The Holy Trinity still undefeated.
True.
Graves, Orianna, Ornn, and in the previous game for the Mad Lions, despite how crazy close it was, the Graves and the Orianna combined to help pick up the win. Orianna finds herself banned, Lilia, Nidalee as well. So Graves still there, Ashe still there, Senna still there, some of those high priority picks.
Target bans coming in, I wouldn't be surprised to see more target bans. They've banned away 2 AP junglers. Now normally AP junglers counter things like the Graves. So Broxah has shown Lee Sin, he's shown Graves, he has shown Lilia, but Lilia is banned. So there's probably 2 champions that Broxah is looking at here for a first pick, because we've seen Team Liquid historically first picking their jungle, and they ban away the set, so that denies it from Tally.
Do you think Lee Sin is going to be one of those jungle picks?
I'd lean more towards something like the Graves. I think Lee Sin
I
think the only reason they first picked Lee Sin in their game against Mad was because Shadow plays Lee Sin, right? So the Graves first pick is good, but like you said, the Holy Trinity, Ornn is still open. They do pick one away, so are they going to pick away the second? I wouldn't be surprised if Legacy pick away the Ornn.
Oh my word, one of these will
they have a response to the first pick Graves, insta-lock Kindred as well. So now, what does Team Liquid respond with? They pick their top laner, something like the Mordekaiser or the Shen that we've seen from Impact. They just go full bot lane.
100% win for Ornn, 100% win for
one of them's going to lose.
100% win for Graves. One of them will lose. By the way, I'm just noticing on the player cams, everybody big smiles, everybody looking jovial. Of course, even if you lose this game, you still have a favorable setup in the knockouts. You get to watch a full BO5 to figure out who your opponent is going to be. But obviously the big prize is that guaranteed spot in groups, and that's the Shen that you predicted, Cadril. Nicely done.
Yeah, so they can match an 80 carry here, but picking bot lane 4-5 could be good. Orianna's banned, Azir's banned, leaves a few mid laners open like the Zoe, Akali, Syndra, main champ. So you have an 80 jungle, so an AP mage mid is pretty good. I think Shen is a little bit of mixed damage, so it helps the Graves a little bit. They are going to go for the Syndra, so I won't be surprised if Tally responds with something. Oh, there's a Galio. It's something he's been playing, the Predator Galio. We've seen it from Tally. Lots of roaming champs. Set, Galio, roaming around the map, getting involved in the plays, and now it's all about bot lane. So investing bans into 80 carry, investing bans into support is basically what we're going to be looking at.
Okay, let's see which ones get locked in, but I don't want to touch on that Syndra versus Galio matchup. We've seen it a couple times today. The Predator Galio has, frankly, not impressed me. I'd like to see something more out of it. Whether or not Tally opts to go for that Predator again, then we need to judge how effective he is, what level of roam he can pull off, and actually, can Jensen shut it down? Because I think it's been a little bit more Syndra favored throughout the course of the day.
You could argue it could have been a scrim champ, you know. Scrims are a lot more bloody than the stage games. Galio on the Predator gets one wave prior, runs bot, gets a double kill, then the Galio looks a lot different than it does on stage, but so far, not the best. I think the Syndra into Galio has been much more favored towards the Syndra. We see Kalista Bard being taken out. We see the Senna being taken away as well. So we're looking at Ezreal again. Raes on the Ezreal was really strong. We're looking at Ashe, Jhin. I think Jhin for the side of TL would be a bit risky. They have a bit too much front line for the Jhin to be able to do too much. So now it's kind of down to Ezreal Ashe. Could ban away one. That does leave the Ashe open and the Jhin. So they're going to take away, well, they're hovering lots. But for them to pick away Jhin, it wouldn't make much sense, because then that basically enables TL to just pick up Ashe and have some frontline damage, whereas Jhin really struggles versus tanks. But Jhin could be good with that comp. They have loads of engaged. The Curtain Call could be good follow-up.
Okay, let's see. A couple seconds left before they figure it out. We're expecting that Galio to go mid. The Ashe was the higher contested pick. And obviously, a lot of discussion. Raes was the man of the moment earlier today.
Go for the Ashe.
Fantastic performance. And finally going to lock in the Jhin. I heard that no.
Yeah,
why are you so disappointed?
Just based on damage dealt, I think if you just pick away the Ashe, Jhin will do less to the tank. So I'm expecting something to be picked away here. They're going to have to blind pick support, so Legacy are going to get a counter pick on support, which is really good. Should help the winning lane in bot, so are they going to go Kog'Maw Lulu? I don't think they will. It's a bit risky against
Now, Tactical has played 2 Twitch games, so quote-unquote hyper carry is one of the options that was available to him. And Cadril, I know we've casted 8 games already, but wait for the lock-in. When we talk hovers, we both just waste time.
Yeah.
Caitlyn surprised a little bit. She has fallen off, but in the context of how many bans have been targeted towards the bottom lane, and then I think if she gets enough time, range against Kindred, Ornn, Galio, that can help.
Yeah, it blocks a lot of the damage. It blocks the Ornn as well. But if they are going to blind pick something like the Braum or the Taric, I'm expecting a counter to come in. Braum has a few lane counters. We've seen things like the Rakan, the Zillion, good into the matchups. And Caitlyn Braum isn't what you'd really expect when you're playing a Caitlyn lane. You want something like a Morgana, something with a setup maybe like a Leona. He's going to go for the Braum. So it is a strong 2v2 if Braum does hit the Q. So I'm expecting some kind of counter pick on support here. I think Nautilus wouldn't be very good for them. Leona as well, not that great against Braum. So I'm expecting something like Zillion, Rakan, just something to round out the team fights.
I also do like the Braum into both Kindred, Jhin, Ornn.
Yep, super good.
Multiple AD carries, the Ornn Horn. So that shield that will come up, the Unbreakable, will do a whole lot of work. And as you talked about, Rakan into the Braum now comboing with Jhin. There is some potential kill threat if you can get that shield down. Let's talk about the team compositions as a whole. Some mixed damage, of course, in the Galio and the Ornn, but a lot of AD from Jhin and Kindred.
Yeah.
And then a little bit more, let's say, quote-unquote, traditional from the Team Liquid side.
The only thing I don't really like about TL's comp is they're playing 3 range champs in jungle mid AD. Then their real engaged support is a Braum, so you don't have anyone to really Shenel. It's not like you have a LeBlanc over side lane or a Lucian mid who's going to go over side lane. You don't have a Nautilus who's going to jump in. Your Shenelt is kind of being used defensively here, and it's not exactly what you want. It's going to be a reactive Shenelt rather than an aggressive one with something like an Evelynn, whereas Legacy, they have so many triggers they can pull.
Do I get the feeling that you prefer the draft from Legacy?
I do, yeah.
Now,
not based on lane states, I think just based on team comps itself.
Okay, so Legacy, the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
Now tell me about lane states. Why do you prefer, why do you sort of lean a little bit towards TL?
Well, they have the Syndra into Galio. I think that's really good for the Syndra. They have the Shen into Ornn. I think Shen is a really strong champ, level 6. You can play around the ultimates really well. Should be able to push out the Ornn in the lane phase. And if you look at the bot side, Caitlyn into Jhin. I think Jhin is fine into Caitlyn. They have the Braum as well. But in terms of 3v3, you have the Graves, you have the Caitlyn, you have the Braum, stuff like this. Just pairs really well together. So Legacy, overall team fights, I think they're good. Perhaps the Braum can stop some of the engage, especially the Ornn Horn. But then you've got the Rakan ult, you've got the Curtain Call. There's so many things you can
Is it fair to say, or is it too extreme to say that for Team Liquid, a little bit of like win lane to win game, get yourselves ahead? If they go even into the mid game against the composition that Legacy has put together, would you think it's fair to favor them? And let's ignore player expectation performance, right? We're just going to go champion v champion.
Yeah, definitely. They need to get some lane advantages. Look for some dives onto bot side with the Syndra Graves, 2v2 mid jungle. When you talk about lane states, you can argue it's a 1v1, 2v2, but what I'm focusing on is more map control, using the Syndra, using the prios. You have the pushing lanes, use the lane states to transfer to another one, use the mid push into bot, try to get your Caitlyn ahead, but yeah, I'd say through lane phases, look what they're looking at here. I don't think they're going to be looking at too many team fights late game when they're even. They need to get an early goal, sort of snowballing gold lead, because I think Legacy in general, although they do lack a little bit of damage with the Ornn, the Galio, and then someone like the Jhin, they have the Kindred in the backline as well. The tanks will soak up lots of the damage, and then hopefully this Jhin and Kindred can do all the backline threat that they need.
Thank you for episode 2 of Learn League with Lamont here on the World's Play-In Group Stage Tiebreakers. The other thing that I also noticed, and you pointed out very eloquently on the Team Liquid side, it's not the greatest of engaged tools. You know, you're looking for like a taunt from Shen, a scatter the weak from Jensen. I think the secondary games, the follow-up, like if you get a stun or a taunt, then Braum and Braum ulti and Shen, that can be great. But you contrast that to a Rakan engage, to an Ornn engage. At this level of play, it just means the ease of execution is simpler on the side of Legacy, and that's always something I like.
Yeah, you're definitely right. TL, they have so much sort of follow-up CC. You know, it's Shen, it's a taunt, they have the Scatter of the Weak, they have the Braum Q. And if you look at the side of Legacy, Tally's actually running the spellbook, so he's not opted into the Predator this time around. Perhaps he thinks laning around against, sort of moving around the map against Syndra Graves will be a bit too difficult, as Isles has a bit of chunk there. And Raes starting boots 4 pots on Jhin. Quite standard, but against the Caitlyn that'll be useful in case the Caitlyn does try to push him in, try to put the traps down and chunk him out under the tower. So yeah, interesting to see how these jungles path. They're both going to start red buff, so I'm assuming they're both going to go to opposite sides of the map, mismatch, unless one of them wants to do something cheeky level 2. Okay,
keep an eye on if that's going to play out. I want to quickly tell the viewers about the last game we saw from Legacy earlier today. It was exceptional. It was teamfight focused, and it was Raes that kind of took over the game. But I want to give you some numbers. They had an average of 3.1 assists per kill. It's the second highest of any game at Worlds so far. And in terms of kill participation, 92% for Raes, 90% for Isles, 85% for Babip. Why do I think that's important, you'll be asking, ladies, gentlemen, everyone else? Well, because they've got another team fight comp put together once again. Galio, Ornn, Kindred, Rakan, they all want to get involved. And the way that game played out earlier today, in favor of Legacy, in a game that they won, was fairly slow, fairly stale in the early stages, but once we got a couple of objectives and 1 or 2 items under the belt, Legacy just dove in over and over and over. And that was how they found their kill, found their win, and found their team fights.
Yeah, looking at lane states, Legacy, they have the bot push. They don't have the top push. Shen is quite potent, level 1 to 2. And Broxah, he skipped his Raptors, something I wanted to point out. So I think he's going to backtrack. I think he's on red, blue, Gromp. He's probably going to go to Wolves and backtrack most likely. Or he can go up to this top side. If Impact gets one more good trade, maybe they can look for some sort of early top dives. does shut the Ornn down a little bit. He's always going to build his Ruby Crystals, but he could use some of his mid pressure towards bot side grab. Looks like he's going for a mid gank, perhaps.
Okay, we'll track this one. Can't come in
behind
behind Tally. Flash is available. I think he will have been spotted up by that ward. And Tally is low.
Stun.
Gets caught by the stun. Scat of the week. Flash already. But that's very successful. Jensen comboing with Broxah to find that stun. And this is again what we expected. You talked about lane states like 3 minutes ago. K-Drill, how that Syndra can be good into the Galio. Now I want to see how Jensen continues to play. Flashless Galio, can he apply more pressure? Can he build up more of an advantage?
I like the Broxah backtrack to this bot grab. He is contesting Babip for it, but the lanes are kind of contested, so if people want to collapse, there's going to be a fight here, but Broxah has the smite, so he should be able to get this one down. He has flash as well in case Tally wants to go in, but he's turning on to Babip here.
A lot of damage. Babip will
Look at the collapse. It's going to be a 4v. It's going to be TPs, 5v5 maybe.
Isles and Raes, and these are the team fights. That's a long-range dash. The taunt comes up from Impact. Everybody's in the river except Topoon. Team Liquid get first blood. 90 Calibernet will find a target, and Raes escapes with his life. North America and TL strike first.
Yeah, look at the minimap. You can see Broxah sprinting towards his top grab to try and deny it from Babip. Topoon might be moving down, but you can see Impact escorting Broxah. Babip won't be able to get the stack this time, and Broxah gets the double crab, and we've seen this so many times. The crabs, when both junglers want to fight over it, just turns into a 5v5 in river, and this time around, Impact pulls the trigger, instantly TP's in, whereas Topoon saves his TP. So, first blood for the side of Broxah, and I mean, it's actually pretty good for Impact to use his TP early on like that. I mean, he's going to hit level 6 anyway, so TPing in early doesn't really affect him too much. He had the top wave pushed in. Broxah turns onto Babip here, and Babip's really focused on the crab, so he gets really chunked, and Tally is a bit split. He does get stunned up. The Shen comes in, and he has no flash from the prior fight, and they do get a little bit of damage onto Jensen. He flashes away, and Tally just gets taken out. So this combo from Tactical, oh, if he hit the Q and the auto, he would have killed him. So
close. The one thing I do like, though, is that once Legacy realized that they'd been flanked and outnumbered, they did back away instantly.
Yep.
Isles flashed the Shen taunt, and Raes did absolutely everything he could to escape. So I do want to give some credit here to Legacy's calling. They tried to save Babip, they didn't, but they are still down 1,000 golds.
Yeah, Topoon does have TP advantage, and you can see Impact after that fight, he ran back to top. He's escorting Broxah to the crab, so he's just sitting on the door and shield, so Topoon could try to freeze the wave in his face. Maybe he could get a little bit of a CS advantage, but I'm expecting Impact to match Topoon's TP when he hits level 6, and Isles just goes for a little chunk. And this is the problem with the Caitlyn, when you get pushed in on the tower, if they play well around their mid-jungle, keep up the push, if Broxah can take these pinks in the bot side river, and they can use the Shen ult effectively, they should be able to control the bot side of the map really well.
Tally's doing very well to dodge those Scatter the Weeks, or at least like put distance between himself and Jensen using the Justice Punch, get out to safety. But look at the lane differences. Plus 10 CS for Tactical, plus 16, 15 for Jensen, plus 13 in the top lane for Impact. So win lane, win game. It was way oversimplification of what we were talking about. But the advantages they have in their team comp, the strengths they have, and then obviously that big TP play in the mid lane. The fact that TL were pushing their waves, they're going to lose less to it. Topoon, even with the wave under his tower, he's still behind in CS. So very early advantage to LCS in North America, and Team Liquid, before 6 minutes, they've already got themselves a dragon, they've got themselves a healthy gold lead, and they've got everything that they needed and wanted that K-Drill wanted to see from the comp. You know, get ahead early, get yourself some tools, because you are lacking some initiation options later. Yeah,
they use their lane states to get the early dragon. They have good bot side control with the pinks. Like you said, win lane, win game. You can see the CS advantage in mid. Impact just basically picked up a Tiamat, so he should be able to push in top. So they're going to have 2 solo lanes pushing, and not only that, they have the bot push as well. So Jensen has no flash here. He could get called out.
Ultimate is available for Jensen. It is not for Babip. Hero's entrance comes down.
Ooh, big damage
from Tally and Babip. That's a hop over the wall. Broxah manages to pick up the second kill, making it look oh so simple. Broxah just dunking down on Babip's Kindred.
He's going to take away the next crab as well. Another crab for Broxah. He's going to take away the stack. 2-0 on this Graves. He's so strong. You could see in that skirmish what we talked about earlier, the mid-jungle from the side of Team Liquid from Draft. Graves, Syndra so strong in the 2v2s, and they're just controlling the map well. Legacy need to kind of find a way to open this game up. Maybe a TP flank from the Ornn. Try to get Galio involved as well, but now Galio's lost his TP. He's lost the ult, so it's going to be quite hard for Tally to join these fights. And just look at the CS, Tally, no flash again.
Man, no flash available. That's a dash in. He manages to get the taunt to just buy some time. Broxah on a killing spree, 3-0. After getting all the crabs in the game, now re-ganking the middle lane. And frankly, it looks like Team Liquid individually are just outclassing everyone on Legacy.
Yeah, Tally's been kind of targeted by Liquid here. He did get ganked earlier on, lost his flash, then died in the river, dies again before it comes back up, and he's just 0-2-0 on this Galio. He's going to be double this. He's going to be half the CS of Jensen, And you can see all these lanes still pushing in. Impact has the push. He's looking for Babip on the Krugs, just sitting in the tri-bush, getting some information. Jensen pushing in mid, running towards bot side. They have the Shen ult too, so if they want to set up a bot play right now, they can do it whenever they want.
Dude, look at this. Warrior enchant already for Graves. 300 gold bounty on his head. There's a 30 CS difference at 8 minutes because Tally might think he's colorblind.
Look at Babip,
Everything is grayscale right now.
He's trying to sneak this Herald instantly as soon as it spawned. Look at the vision control that TL have. They have 3 pushing lanes, they have full map control, but Broxah won't expect this. Babip is sneaking away this Herald. He didn't get spotted out by the crab, and this is really big. If they can deny the Herald, they can slow down Team Liquid's sort of snowball potential, because the way they want to play it is they want to get a dive off, they want to kill them and then pop the Herald to get the tower, but now without the Herald, as soon as this goes down, Broxah will get information. And I think Jensen's going to fast push this wave, and they're going to run bot side to try and force something, because now you have the information that the enemy jungle's top side, you can try to do something bot side.
Okay, it seems to be the case. Broxah's already cleared out Grump. He's pinged out on that ward. Legacy aware, but look at the damage onto Raes and Isles. Collateral damage is available. End of the line. Can bounce against the wall. Get away from the wall.
Big damage.
They don't get away from the wall. Collateral damage gets the one. And Raes and Isles, when Graves is chasing you, get away from the wall.
And that's exactly what we're talking about. The second you show as a jungler or you give information to enemy team, the enemy jungle can play on the opposite side of the map. The Herald goes down. Yes, Babip did deny it from the side of Liquid by sneaking it, but now they've lost their flash in bot. Raes is going to lose a huge wave, 20 CS down. He's losing plates as well, so although they don't have the Herald, they still got an equal amount of plates as they would have if they did have the Herald. So Legacy's in a really tough spot. 4K down. Your mid lane's losing, your bot lane's losing. Yes, top is even, but look at the jungle. They have the Shen ult still as well, so Liquid have so many tools to play with here.
Yo, Team Liquid are angry as hell after that loss earlier today. Coming into this one, and what a dominating start. Broxah, it feels like everywhere he's gone, obviously this play from the entire team, but he's been the beneficiary, picked up 4 of the kills. Solo diving the duo after the great work that Tactical and CoreJJ set up, poking them down to 50%, and he just brings it home.
Yeah, he basically, the way Broxah played it was quite smart. He read Babip like a book. He knew what plays he wanted to go for. He knew Babip wanted to go towards the bot side after starting red, try to get the bot grab. Broxah matched it. He knew that he would be trying to get his Raptors or red buff and stuff, and Broxah's always matching it, making sure he gets the ganks off. He's 4-0 on his Graves. He has a warrior. It's sort of like 10 minutes in the game. He's so strong, and you can see he was 2v1ing the bot lane of Legacy.
Yeah, absolutely the case. I am hearing from League officials that CoreJJ has requested the pause. I will give you more information as soon as I get it. But as we do have a tiny bit of time, Cadril, take a seat for a second, because I do want to give you a quick history lesson.
Okay.
Right?
Grandpa Trevor with the history?
That's it. Yes, somebody needs to teach the youth of today the history of this game. And Legacy, the representatives from Oceania, I'm going to touch on their play-ins experience as a region since 2017. Dire Wolves were in the play-ins. They went 1-3, and they lost the tiebreaker to CB LoL. They were unable to advance, and then, as we know, CB LoL went on to lose to 1907 Fenerbahce. 2018, they went 1-3, and they were eliminated. 2019 with Mammoth, 2-2 in play-ins groups. There was a 3-way tie. They were eliminated in the tiebreaker. Over the last 3 years, from 1-3 to 2-2 to 3-1, Direwolves, Mammoth, and now Legacy. This is the strongest play-ins group performance we have seen out of the Oceanic region. And yes, it is looking scary for them in the tiebreaker game, but sitting in the second seed and with the modification to the play-ins format for 2020, even if they end up losing this game, it means they will have a showdown with either Rainbow 7 or LGD in 2 days' time. Now, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but since the history lesson is over and the pause is resolved, Legacy find themselves 4,000 gold down. They find themselves without their first dragon. That's coming up in a minute for the Ocean. But they do have their Herald, and they're going to need that to pull back a lot of gold to look competitive.
The only disadvantage for Legacy taking that Herald, and we see Impact taunting in, he's got so much damage with Babip's here. I think there might be a TP. Jensen doesn't have TP yet.
What happens? There is the ability to save Topoon's life, but it will inadvertently heal Impact as well. Mounting Dread, Wolf's Frenzy, the dance of arrows over and over, and the ultimate not used. The first kill on the board for Legacy. Now Raes and Isles come back into lane. Broxah's collateral damage is available, and Ace in the hole sends Isles packing. And that is the 5th kill of the game, the first for Tactical.
Yeah, they're going to get the spot tower. And like I was going to say before, the whole bad thing about Babip sneaking that Herald is that when you're against a Shen, you want to swap into the Shen and play into him. So it kind of takes away the identity behind being able to put your bot lane sort of basing. You drop a wave, run top, 4-man top, and then just try to kill the Shen and just play on his lane. But Babip definitely identifies what he needs to do. Play on the Shen's lane so you avoid the Shen ult. He does manage to take him down, but They've lost the bot tower, and the Herald top is going to give plates over to Babip, but just looking at the gold, they're still almost 5,000 gold down. They're going to lose this second dragon as well. There are members of Legacy coming down, but Broxah should be able to get this out in time. They have the Shen ult as well, so now how do Legacy respond? They need to get some plates with their bot lane. This Jhin needs to get ahead.
Yo, Kedro, I don't know if you know how the shoutcast and Joe works, but you don't ask me questions. I can't give you the answer. Wait, like, how do Legacy respond? I am not qualified to answer that question. But the more terrifying thing, Infernal Soul and 10 minutes to go before that is available. And this is, of course, the kill that Legacy were able to pick up on TieBreaker.
Yeah, good identification by Babip. Can't really go towards the bot side. You lose the 3v3, and they have Shen ult, and they have mid prio, so good kill for them, and then Team Liquid just trade back. They do manage to get Isles. It wasn't really blocked by Raes, but I think if Raes blocked that, he probably would die himself, so sacrificial Lambda. Team Liquid swapping up towards the top side. They don't have the Herald, but Tactical has Infinity Edge, and Raes only sitting on the BS sword and the Agility Cloak. Okay, so the team has swapped lanes. Legacy going to what they consider normal lanes as the Australian representation. Down 30 CS in the 80 carry roll, down 40 CS in the mid lane. Broxah stealing away. Did you see that, Trevor? Brambleback. The red buff lived on 1 HP. I don't know if you just saw it. It was a little quick. No, I missed it, unfortunately. Oh, okay. These old eyes. I was actually looking at items, if I'm going to be 100% honest. But for the time being, look at this lane swap. I mean, Legacy, they are down so far, dude. Like, the only way that you can try to bring back this deficit is farm as safe as you can, but you're losing more plates, you're losing more towers, which means TL are getting even further ahead. Yeah, Tally has the ult if they want to try to defend this, but Impact has his ult as well, and Topoon doesn't have TP, so it would be a 5v4 in between the towers, and I think Team Liquid would be beneficial in that. They're so strong right now. Look at Broxah's items. It's kind of unleashed, and Jensen was around as well, so I think it's complete one. Maybe they're going to look for the dive, actually, if they stay too long. They do have the Kindred ult to buy time, but Topoon will not be able to join this fight, and if Impact decides to join, it's a 5v4. All right, Tally needs to move. He's making his way through the Brambleback for now. There's the potential to dive under. Look at that end of the line damage. The entrance comes down from Tally. This is now a dodgeball again. V4, and that's exactly the case. Not going to be enough damage just yet. The quickness will at least lock down Broxah. He's running for his life. The curtain call has been blocked up by CoreJJ in a 3-man taunt from Tally. They are down 5,000 gold, and they almost make the fight look competitive. But Team Liquid have the damage, the items, the HP, and they can look to dive once again. Jensen has already used the high skill button, his ultimate, and now he's going to look for a Scat of the Week to set up something more. Scat of the Week won't get stunned. Babip being run down by Broxah. Teleport coming in here from Impact under the tower, and Raes will get taken out by Jensen. This is illegal gameplay by Team Liquid, making a statement in the TieBreaker. TL want groups, and they want it over the corpse of Legacy. Legacy trying to defend that top tier 1. I mean, it looked pretty good when Tally flashed over the wall. It looked like he was going to land a 5-man taunt, but in the end, he just gets one popped, and then Team Liquid turned to the rest of the members. And just watching this again, Broxah, yes, he made a little bit of a mistake here by overstepping. Isles identifies that really well and instantly flashed on him. Broxah almost gets taken down, but the whole concept by TL is good. The dodgeball, just keep throwing spells at them. They have to use the Galio ult, they have to use the Kindred ult, and eventually they have to turn, otherwise they're going to lose. They're going to get poked out, so Isles instantly sees Broxah, misses the knockup, but they do get the root. He lives on a really low HP. Guardian, Shen ult, everything coming in, and then Impact does get cancelled on the ult. You saw on the bottom of your screen, Topoon used the Ornn ult to cancel him, but then he TPs on the wave. And that was kind of it. I mean, look at Broxah on the back half of this fight. He just used the red buff, gets the red smite onto Babip, and then Babip kind of splits from his team. He could have stayed on the tower, but then Jensen would have killed him himself. Caitlyn, I'm going to ask you to analyze the 2 games of whack-a-mole that we've seen today. The first one earlier, that was Legacy inside the Dragon Pit, and this one with Legacy under the top tower. Which whack-a-mole was more entertaining? Oh, the Dragon one was way better. Okay. That was at least a 1-minute stare down of spells flying across the map, and look at the tower plates on top of your screen. Those 2 tower plates that Legacy got was the Herald. That's it. I can't believe we managed to get 2 games of whack-a-mole in the same day as we've been casting. Both by Legacy. Both by Legacy on the receiving end of being shot at, I might add. They were trying to dodge, dip, duck, and dive, and they couldn't do it. But look at the state of this game at 15 minutes. 10 tower plates to 2, 2 towers to 0, 9 kills to 1, 2 dragons to 0. Infinity Edge rapid fire cannon Caitlyn. Yeah. That is 3,000 gold above the highest golden Legacy, who, by the way, is Babip. And that's coming up against a BF sword. They can go 2 towers mid. The crit cloak, they absolutely can. I mean, Look
they
at the
could push
gold
even
lead.
further.
8,000 gold lead, 2 items Caitlyn in 15 minutes, and we said it in draft, win lane, win game, and they're definitely winning lanes, and I don't know, this game looks kind of 1-2 to me.
This is an incredible performance from Team Liquid.
They need
Punishing every mistake from Legacy and frankly, just doing everything right.
Legacy need to find some sort of engage. You don't have that reliable late game carry like we've seen the Oriannas, we've seen the Ashes and stuff like this. Jhin isn't really falling into that group alongside Galio. There's not enough damage. Kindred's also already far behind, so I think the scaling is just way more favored for TL. The Syndra, the Caitlyn, the Graves, I think those champs scale really well comparatively to the other side of the board. So Legacy, they're going to lose the Dragon. Maybe they can cross-map for this top tier one, but they need to find some sort of engage to get this game,
Yo, and for
get
one,
an A-ball rolling.
For one last time today, it wasn't Ornn's fault, okay? The Holy Trinity of Pixelman 001, Ornn, the champion, is not at fault here. So even though he's likely to pick up his first loss at the World Championship in 2020, this is all Team Liquid. I think they have played very proactively, very aggressively. Impact at level 4, teleported to that river exchange that helped pick up first blood for Broxah, like milliseconds after it began. Team Liquid clearly understood what they needed to do with this comp, and they are executing it fantastically. Level advantages in the game, there's farm, there's gold, they've got all the tools they need.
Yeah, I think the pairing between the players is just so good, right? Broxah calling an impact for the TP, Jensen and Broxah moving around the map really well, Broxah and CoreJJ making sure they get the vision, and then Tactical and CoreJJ just taking all the plates in the game. They took bot tower, they took top tower, they took mid tower. This is what you want to do with Caitlyn. You want to move her around the map, take all the towers you can, play around the Caitlyn, protect her. And Legacy didn't seem to have an answer. They couldn't find any engages. They did have TP advantage for around 4 to 5 minutes, but Impact always had the Shen ult to match, so Legacy just didn't decide on a play. They weren't really decisive. They did look for a top play later on. They did manage to get Impact. That's their one kill, but now they're looking for something.
Right, all the Forge got immediately destroyed by CoreJJ's Braum. Look at the damage onto Isles. He's running for his life. That's a dead Raes as he gets blown up by Ace in the hole and the auto attacks from Infinity Edge. I mean, if you look at the player cams, Raes is just like, yeah, throw some shrimp on the barbie, we'll be home soon. This game is over. As Legacy are being pushed under their inhibitor. Now, one thing I would like to say, because I've obviously been a little bit more loose and humorous this game, much to Catral's surprise, when you are this far ahead at 18 minutes, like, surely it gets more difficult to actually push into the base, or it should be.
Well, tell that to G2 when they were against Team Liquid.
Touche.
They were on their Nexus in 19 minutes. It's 19 minutes now. TL almost got to return the favor to Legacy, but there's 2 TPs coming in now.
Oh my word. Let's see what can happen as that's already Tally going golden in so much trouble. They almost get Tactical. 90 caliber net flash heal used to keep himself alive. Raes is trying to run him down, but he doesn't have the damage, doesn't have the item. The cleanse does nothing. Tactical stares down the entirety of Legacy, gets away with his life, and Legacy threw everything in the kitchen sink at Team Liquid. Yep. This could be a sub-20-minute victory.
Yeah, Legacy, they had to make plays. We said it for the last couple of minutes. They went for that last-ditch effort, but Team Liquid they're probably going to win this game. I think they can end here. It's probably a record time in the play-ins itself.
This looks like it. 19.5 minutes. Isle staring them down. Team Liquid qualify for the World's Group stage with a few last autos. Gotta finish this off before I celebrate it. Legacy trying to step forward and push them back. There's the hero's entrance. Team Liquid cannot win in under 20 minutes, but they find themselves one loss on Impact. Continue run for their lives. Tactical. 90 caliber net in a reply, and the bullets will not find. Curtain Call cannot do it. Finally, Tactical goes down to Topoon. Jensen and Broxah trying to finish this one out. Jensen gets another. It's Broxah that is godlike at 7-0-9. And just to make sure it's not under 20 minutes, the final fight. Team Liquid advance to the group stage at Worlds.
What a performance by Team Liquid. Win lane, win game. Not only did they win lane, they almost won the game in under 20 minutes. They played so well. Broxah, Jensen, I just think Tactical as well. Just the 3 of them played so well together with the support of Impact and CoreJJ, making sure they could move around the map, take these towers, and wow, such good macros, such good decision making, and just really well played in the fights.
Exceptional performance from Team Liquid. The marked improvement from spring through to summer, despite sort of falling off in playoffs, Team Liquid have overcome the challenges that were in their way, and they qualify for the group stage. They do defeat Legacy, who finished the group stage at 3-1 official score, losing the tiebreaker, but they play second. And now Legacy will be waiting to see if they play Rainbow 7 or LGD in 2 days' time. Yeah,
and on paper, LGD does look scary, but they have been griefing it throughout the playing stage, so definitely not unwinnable. China's 4th seed has been looking really shaky throughout the playing, especially yesterday, so they did eventually make it on their tiebreaker match, so we'll have to see who does win that best of 5 to go up against Legacy, but Team Liquid straight through to the group stage.
Congratulations, and what a way to do it. I mean, if there was